And so I would just like to say to you and to everyone here, gracias para vivir en la casa, en las escuelas, en el azul marcada. Tienes con vivir en las fortaleza. And gracias.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Guess who visited the border today? Loquilo Taco Bell. It was Kamala Harris. She visited the border. The last time that she visited the border was in June 2021, 3 months after she was named the border czar. And here's what she had to say.
I love you back.
She's going to do a speech later today, but that's pretty much how it's going to go because that's how all of her interviews generally go. Anyways, it's just a bunch of filler words and word salad. You pick your dressing, and that's basically what it is when she's unscripted. But here is some footage of the border czar arriving in Arizona for her first visit in, get this, 1,191 days.
Crossing the border illegally. We're watching Vice President Harris right now at the border. I believe that's Senator Kelly in the baseball hat to her right.
President Harris is touring there along the border in Douglas, Arizona. We'll listen in heading to break as she walks along the border wall.
We know the arguments, right? The White House, and look at that, Kamala Harris looking through the border wall there down on the southern border. I don't know what specific agency she's with there, probably CBP, Customs and Border Protection. The media that is traveling.
And here's a really interesting detail that I'd like to insert into this. They released these numbers right before she visited the border.
The Director of Immigration and Customs Enforcement confirms that more than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States. The letter here tells the tale. Hello, I'm John Roberts in Washington. You believe this, Sandra?
Which means they are here, and this is just an unbelievable development. I'm Sandra Smith in New York. Good to be with you, John. This is America Reports. Let's get right to Bill Malugin. He's got this news for us. He's live out of Douglas, Arizona right now, where Vice President Kamala Harris is set to visit later this afternoon. Bill, the details of this news, what do you have?
Yeah, and Sandra, bear with me. We just got these numbers moments ago, but it's a jaw dropper to say the least. So to set the stage here, let me just explain what these numbers mean. ICE has something called a non-detained docket. Essentially what that is it means migrants who were encountered by DHS but are no longer in federal custody. So who's on this non-detained docket? It's illegal immigrants who were caught and released at the border, released with the court date years away. They're in immigration proceedings, combined with illegal immigrants who have already been ordered, deported from the country by a judge, but are still here roaming the country. So keep that in mind, this non-detained docket. According to a letter that the acting director of ICE just sent to Texas Congressman Tony Gonzalez, on ICE's non-detained docket, they're currently tracking 425,000 non-citizens who have been convicted of a crime. Of that number, over 13,000 non-citizens have convictions for homicide and are on the non-detained docket, meaning they're roaming the country right now. On top of that, there are another 15,811 non-citizens convicted of sexual assault who are roaming the country right now on ICE's non-detained docket. It doesn't stop there. Those are convictions. The ICE director also says there are currently just under 1,900 non-citizens on the non-detained docket who have pending homicide charges who are roaming the country, and another 4,250 non-citizens who have pending sexual assault charges who are roaming the country on the non-detained docket. So people's eyes might be glazing over right now with all the numbers we just threw at you. Just to put it in a nutshell right here, what we've learned from the acting ICE director via this letter to Congressman Tony Gonzalez is right now there are over 13,000 illegal aliens convicted of homicide who are roaming the United States right now. There are another 15,811 illegal aliens roaming the country right now who have been convicted of sexual assault, and there are even more who are facing charges for homicide and charges for sexual assault. So this just goes to show, guys, the non-detained docket has exploded under the Biden administration to over, I believe it's 7.3 million. They're anticipating it could hit 8 million by the end of the year. But looking at the numbers on this letter right here, there are currently over 600,000 non-citizens on ICE's non-detained docket who are either convicted, 600,000 non-citizens on this non-detained docket who are roaming the country right now. Of that, 425,000 have already been convicted of crimes. 222,000 are pending crimes. And again, the most serious crimes we just told you about.
The ICE director released these numbers stating that 13,000 migrants convicted of murders have been caught at the border and released in the United States. Migrants are using the Migrant app. They're getting free housing. They're getting food, and they're raiding these cities. Kamala Harris, newsflash, honey, your visit to the border is nothing but a fake photo op to get people to think that you really give a shit. And everybody knows this. Everybody knows 425,000 known convicted criminals, illegal immigrants, have been released into the United States. 13,000 who were convicted of homicides and 15,000 were convicted of sexual assault. Your administration is responsible for this. People, Democrats in the chat, if you don't see what the freak is going on, you are blind. You have your blinders on. This woman does not give a crap about the United States, or else she would have handled this a long time ago. Miss Border Czar.
Be no love for me or Republicans for Kamala Harris today. In fact, I think the Trump campaign line today ought to be arsonist returns to scene of crime. Only because we're in the shadow of an election is Kamala Harris trying to rush and pay some lip service to this issue as a tactical matter. Anderson, I don't think Harris should be trying to elevate this issue because this is the best ground from which Donald Trump has to fight. So, no, I think the Harris campaign is making a tactical mistake, and I think they have very little to say that the American people are going to buy on this today. Anderson, it's worse than that. It's not that it took them too long. It's that they actively worked to undo everything Donald Trump had done during his time in office. On the first day, they rescinded all of Donald Trump's border executive orders. The floodgates opened. All these people come rushing across. Then it becomes a political problem. And now at the end of the election, they want to blame it on Donald Trump. For her entire career, she has wanted a more permissive immigration structure. When she ran for president before, she wanted to decriminalize border crossings. In her heart of hearts, she wants a more liberal, permissive immigration structure. And in his heart of hearts, Donald Trump wants to crack down on the border. That's why when you look at the CNN polling this week, Trump is far more trusted on immigration than Harris. That is not going to change because of this visit today or anything she says today. The die is cast on this issue. If I were her, I'd want to bury this issue, not make it more prominent. But hey, if she wants to have border events, I think Republicans will rejoice because it'll increase the prominence of this issue for the last month of the campaign.
And here's the most shocking statistic. This is going to blow your mind. 325,000 children have gone lost or missing under this administration.
The worst statistic of them all, 325,000 children. Think of that. 3.5 years. She lost 325,000 children. And they're either dead, being sold into sex slavery, or just plain missing. Think of the number, 325,000. If that were a Republican instead of her, and she was the border czar, she says, well, I wasn't the border czar, she was. And tomorrow she'll make a case that, oh, she did a fairly good job. You can't say much. You can't justify it. She should save her airfare. She should go back to the White House and tell the president to close the border. He can do it with the signing of just a signature on a piece of paper to the Border Patrol. Instead, she's going there to try and convince people that she wasn't as bad as everybody knows she was. On day one of my new administration, I will stop all migrant flights immediately. They should stop them tonight. She can do that. Just sign one little page saying stop the migrant flights. But she won't do that. They're infecting our country. They're destroying our country. I will shut down all entries through the migrant phone app, something that most of you haven't even heard of, but it's very active and taking in thousands and thousands of people a week. I will end catch and release, and I will remain in Mexico. I'm going to tell Mexico, thank you very much. You're putting it back right away. You're putting it back, and they will do it too when I tell them. I will bring back Title 42. I will send a federal law enforcement, large group of people, but a tough group of people to liberate Aurora, Colorado. The governor of Colorado is petrified of these gangs. These are Venezuelan gangs with equipment better than our military has, going in with guns. The governor of Colorado is a coward. He's afraid to do what you have to do. And every other town that has been taken over by the migrant gangs and criminal alien thugs. And I think I'll go to a couple of these towns over the next 2 weeks. You'll see for yourself what's happened to them. They've been literally destroyed. I will send Congress a bill to ban sanctuary cities in the first day that I become president. And I will tell you, whether it's California or any place else, you might have guys like the governor, Newsom, or others that are governors wanting it. Nobody knows why. But the people don't want them. You can go and ask the people of California, do you want sanctuary cities? The people, including Democrats, will say, we don't want them. We will seal the border. We will stop the invasion, and we will begin the largest deportation of criminals, the criminal element, which is a large portion. We will start that immediately. Dwight Eisenhower had the largest deportation effort ever in our country, President Eisenhower, because he hated the fact that people were able to pour across our border. This will be much larger than that, but we will get rid of the drug dealers. We will get rid of the human traffickers. We will get rid of the murderers, the people that came out of jails, and the people that came out of mental institutions. They will all be gone, and it'll happen very quickly.
What's crazy to me is that the mainstream media is not talking about this. They're not talking about the migrant app. They're not talking about the missing children. Where are the kids? Where are these people that have gone missing? And she's doing a bullcrap photo op on the border to get a free gordita crunch. Come on, man. Let me know what you guys think about this situation. Drop your comments down below, smash the like button, share, subscribe, and as always, I'll catch you on the next one.